I think it's demoted when you have to become a servant, right? You get demoted.
They doubled his pay.
Doubled my pay, yep. Well, pleasure to be with all of you here this Sabbath. We're down, of course, visiting some guy we know called Noam, and it's really enjoyable to be with him. So we're going to be here for a few days and then head back on Thursday. Pastor Chuck asked me if I would spend a few minutes just talking about our recent leadership conference in Sri Lanka and some of my travels there along with a group of us, and maybe just a little bit about Asia in general and what's happening in certain parts with the work there. So that is what we will do. Turn over with me to John 6:44. John 6:44, memory scripture, we all know it. No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. These are Christ's words, and they're pretty powerful. It tells us a lot. It seems the Father has reserved to himself when and who he's going to call, and then Jesus Christ will work with that individual. And that's an amazingly powerful statement when you think about that. Each one of you and me and people around the world have been hand-selected by the Father. And wow, that ought to really open our eyes to the calling that we have and understand how powerful that calling is. Well, God's doing some pretty amazing things, and I'll share with you maybe a story or two today about how he's calling individuals in other parts of the world, including parts that we might think, wow, we didn't know God would even work there at this point, but he's going to work with everybody. So the conference was in Sri Lanka. I'm losing track of time now, about 2 weeks ago. Maybe it's 3. I don't know. I'm lost on my time. I've been crossing time zones for a while now. And we had, of course, Mr. Elliott and Mrs. Elliott went, and the Myers were there, and Deb McNeely could not join. She had sprained her back or something, and she wasn't up to traveling and all that. And the leadership conference, as you can see here, I think that really points it out. I can't actually see it. The preach the gospel, make disciples, and care for disciples. That was the theme of the conference. But I will step back. We started a day early before the conference, and Martin and Jen Cush from Australia came up. They've been working on translations to build out websites for various Central Asian countries where we have individuals. And so that's kind of what got me roped in as I'm working on translations from other. We're trying to use AI, and AI is problematic still when it comes to translations. It's quite problematic, and you have to really kind of understand AI, where it's at, in order to think about how you approach it to give you the answer you need, not the answer that's built into it. So we spent a whole day actually on the fly. Martin has this software program that's really wonderful, and with 5 different countries, 6, 7 languages, we were in a room together, and we were doing translations on the fly and testing how well and modifying. And it was a very, very productive session. We had some epiphanies, and to make hopefully translations in other languages around the world. Martin's goal, he's got a very big mindset. Martin's goal is to be able to translate literature in any country, any language, in a matter of a few minutes. And so you got to have a big, audacious goal, right, in order to get there. But if you even get halfway there, that's a pretty good thing. So we had a very good session there, and then we went into the leadership. And, well, maybe we can just go to some pictures, and I don't know which order these are in. I'll probably be looking this way so I can see what's on there. That was the whole group, and quite a nice sized group. Now we had representatives from 2 or 3 locations in India. We have brethren in Pakistan. Who'd have thunk? We have brethren in Bangladesh. We have more Sabbath keepers in Tajikistan, in Nepal, I'm trying to think of the other countries, and of course working our way up into Eastern Europe. There's a trail of Sabbath keepers. Some we haven't even reached out to or touched yet. We just got connected with a gentleman who has 14 Sabbath-keeping congregations in Nepal. He was not here, but we're making contact with him, And he wants to learn more about us. We want to learn more about them. And so it's really very exciting who the Father calls. You know, sometimes we think it's all the work that we do, and we should. That's our commission, right? It's preach the gospel, make disciples. But the Father decides who he wants to call. And sometimes we're sort of batting cleanup, going, okay, where are we? Where do we go? And God's already been there. And then we have to figure out how to get there and help them and serve them. These are our couples that represent leadership in Pakistan and in Bangladesh. And we'll go back just one really quick. This gentleman here, very, very funny individual, a very interesting individual. I asked him how he got called. And he says, well, there was a good news in my house. I said, well, how did it get there? He's like, it was in my brother's books. My brother had moved some boxes in. I asked my brother, where did you get this? He's like, I've never seen that before. So a good news ended up in the man's house, and nobody knows how it got there. But he read it, and one thing led to another. Very, very wonderful men. The two on the outside, well, actually all three are in India, but the two on the outside, PC on the far side and Joseph, those two are up in Mizoram, India. Now, Mizoram, India is a little, if you look at a map, it's a little offshoot arm of India that runs around Bangladesh and down and near Myanmar. And actually, they have a number of brethren that are in Myanmar itself, but that's an area we can't get to. It's very volatile right now. But they have connection with them. They've got 450 people working throughout Mizoram and in various areas and churches that they work with now. Just amazing. The gentleman in the middle is an interesting fellow, Manoj Matthew. He's from southern India. He was a very high-level executive working for an international corporation stationed out of Dubai, I believe it was, and managed 5 countries in the Middle East for that company. And one day decided, I need to be working for God, not for myself and my career. And so he returned to India, and he just started up on his own, and then he had contact with us. But he runs individuals in southern India through a program. It's 3-stage. He says, I weed people out. At the end of the first stage, it's about the Sabbath, and that usually people fall off. And then the next stage is the holy days, I think, and then if people fall off, and then third stage, I can't remember, but by the time he gets through the third stage, he's got a group of people, and he's just establishing churches, and he got in contact with us, and so we're working with him. He's a very nice man, very interesting guy, and again, God's calling people sometimes when we don't know it's happening. These are 3 great guys from Sri Lanka. They were so jovial, I had to throw that picture in there. They make you just want to laugh and feel good, they're awesome. From India, and I'm not sure if I'm going to remember his name. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you. He and his wife work in another part of India. India is so big and diverse with so many dialects. I think they told me 140 different languages/dialects in India. It's a massive place. That's not Eugene. That's, I'm going to miss it. I don't think we can see his name tag fast enough. Forgive me. Sanjay and Archana. They are from a portion of India, and I don't remember which section. Lovely people. We'll keep going. A few more. I feel like I'm at grade school doing my, summer vacation thing here. And that's Mr. and Mrs. Reckerman in the middle. They're the pastor in Sri Lanka, and they are just lovely people. And next to them is Mr. and Mrs. Deswilla, I think you say it. Their associates are assistants there in Sri Lanka as well. And some more group photos of everybody. I think we just have a couple more. We'll kind of go through them there. Of course, some of our leadership. All of our ladies there. Nice photo of all of them. They had a nice breakout session. And Mr. Elliott and I did a session on tithing. there they really want to understand. They're a lot more agricultural. Most of us all work for somebody, so tithing has become, rather, I shouldn't say easy, but it's pretty easy to deal with our tithes. We have a couple judgments we need to make, but when you're dealing with agriculture, all the laws are different. They change, and so we did a session on that. I think that's just about it. Is there another one or two? We can just that was it, huh? That was good. All right. So that was the conference there. It was very good, very leadership conference, very enjoyable, wonderful people, and God's really doing some great things in that area. On the way back through, I didn't get any objections. My wife and I have been looking at other Southeast Asian countries for the last several years about what might be ready to bring which areas might be ready to bring God's word to. South Korea kept popping up on our list. So I stopped in South Korea. Now, why South Korea? South Korea, about 30%, just shy of 30% of South Korea is Christian. Traditionally, they're Confucianism, but there's a lot of people that don't really believe anything or do anything. The Christianity got established through people coming in, but then definitely during the Korean War, there was a lot of influence there. Highly developed society, very wonderful people, very organized city, more beautiful than any city I've seen in America. Organized, clean, public transport's good. I think I saw a couple instances of graffiti on a wall somewhere, not much, no trash on the streets, just a beautifully organized society. High consumers of technology, much higher than we are in America on average. But they have some societal problems going on, which I think provides the opportunity for us. They have the largest suicide rate in the developed world and consistently come out in the top 10 around the entire world, which includes mostly impoverished, war-torn countries and things like that. So it's perplexing on that one, and it's not just like the poor people, it's pop stars. The mayor of Seoul killed himself about 5 years ago. It permeates all of society, and so it's a puzzling thing that you can have so much abundance, and yet for some reason in their psyche, they've got this high suicide rate. They also have a very aging population. As probably all of us know, Koreans work very hard. They sacrifice from a young age. A lot of them sacrificed marriage. If they did get married, they sacrificed children. And they're an aging population, and now they're questioning, did they make the right decisions? And what is the purpose? Why have I done this? And when you have people asking those questions, we have answers. We have answers to those things. And so I was able to meet with some lawyers and some marketing folks. I wanted to understand the basis of the law there. It's very conducive for us to be able to do some work there. And then, of course, marketing, digital marketing, things like Google they have their own homegrown systems, let's put it that way. Google gets like 30% of the search there. Their own homegrown systems get 60 and 70% of this. So we got to think through their technology and figure out how we might be able to use it to the best benefit. With that, I didn't get a chance to go to Myanmar. I do work with our brethren in Myanmar on a regular basis, and we hold services just about every week with them. I've got a group of speakers from around the country, elders that some of them retired or looking for something to do, let's say, or want to be involved, and so we rotate through. We've got 3 groups in Myanmar. I'll just give you a quick background. We have a group in the south, which is in the Delta region. They have been in the church since the 60s. They come through the worldwide tradition. And so we're talking 2nd and 3rd generation Christians in the south there. And there's probably a group of, I would say if they were all together, a group of maybe 30, give or take 30 people, maybe 35, wonderfully dedicated individuals. They have had to, a lot of the young people have had to flee. They are in danger of being conscripted into the military all the time. So they had military came into the village on one end of the village and grabbed one young person. The word got fast, so all of our young people fled into the rice fields and hid. That lasted about 3 days, but they're in a constant under pressure of potentially being conscripted in the Army. A lot of them have left and gone to Malaysia on work contracts, or to Singapore, or even southern Thailand on work contracts to sort of get out of there. That has problems too, but they're doing the best they can in the situation they're in. We have a prospective member in Yangon, and he has developed a group of about 25 or 30 people we speak to every week. He wrote into the website and about 7 years ago, and eventually I ended up working with him, and it's like we've known each other forever, but we've never met. So we've been trying to meet and figure out how to do that. But he has grown a congregation during COVID, and then the coup. He's just gone around to poor people, done what you're supposed to do as a Christian, and that has provided quite a group of individuals that meet every week. We had a 3-day seminar that we did remotely during the spring holy days, and we had a number of people that said, you know, this is it. This is what we're looking for. So that's exciting. And then we have a group in the north that we affiliate with. Some of you may know Leon and Gloria Sexton from way back. They, after the worldwide breakup, they just moved to northern Thailand and started grabbing members that haven't been cared for, and developed a school, and a lot of those have been put into this group in the north. They're in a more precarious situation. They're right between 3 military armies, 3 different bases of 4,000 to 5,000 soldiers each, and then a counter army in the Karen district. And so they're like right on the border. So there's constant, I'll be on the phone with Sangong, and I can hear bombs dropping in the back. And I'm like, Sangong, do you need to go? He's like, nope, we're okay. They're very attuned to what's happening. And so we pray for him a lot. That's our group in Myanmar. We're hoping to get there. I was trying to get there for the spring holy days. It's just not conducive to get there right now. It's not the risk necessarily for me, it's the risk for the brethren. They'll follow me, I'm okay. I can't hide in Asia, by the way. You might have noticed that. It's pretty impossible to hide when the average height's about 5'5", you know, and so it's pretty tough. But I will be followed, and that doesn't bother me. But the problem is where I go and meet with people, they will see who I'm meeting with. So we don't want to put them in jeopardy. They can end up being extorted for bribes or whatever else to leave them alone. I don't want to draw attention to their young people and have them conscripted and that type of thing. So right now we're just in a pause and wait and waiting for God to open that door to end the war and that type of thing. So those are our brethren in Myanmar. I've wandered, sorry. We don't normally take questions, but if we got a minute or two, I'm happy to entertain a question, or we'll just move right on to the next section. But that's what I had for you here this morning. All right, brethren, thanks for letting me join you. And do pray for our brethren all over Asia. Asia is 59% of the world's population. It stretches from a piece of Egypt all the way to the Bering Sea across from Alaska. It's a massive territory, and we have just barely started working there. So we're hopeful, and your prayers are always appreciated. Thanks, brother.